Official welcome to the 2025 Tavant AI Summit. I'm thrilled you're all here. I think we had a great start last night. Beautiful weather, it was great up there, and I think that was the right kickoff. Thank you to Ashutosh for putting some thoughts into our heads that we're going to continue talking about today. I'm Christoph Knoess. I lead a business at Tavant that we call Tavant AI, which is the place that we run our AI activities out of. And so I'll be hosting you a little bit with my colleague Matt Wood, who is going to be the MC for the day. We're going to spend the first 30 minutes setting a little bit the tone and letting you know why we have constructed the summit the way it is and what you should expect over the next day and a half. And then we're going to go right into it, and you'll see it's going to be very, very fast-paced and punchy. Nothing is longer than 30 minutes. Lots of thoughts and ideas we're going to drop with you, get together in roundtables and so forth to digest that and really help you all come out with some actions in the day and a half. But thank you for making the trip out here. We're thrilled, and we're going to get into things. There's one thing that really stuck with me, what Ashutosh said last night, and I found a picture to kind of reflect that. I think that is kind of a nice depiction of what we're all after at this point. Obviously a lot of activity, a lot of investment, a lot of trying out AI, machine learning, generative AI over the last 18 months. But what we hear over and over from you and from other customers is we don't quite see the return yet on the investments, and we need to get there. And so we want to explore a little bit what's keeping us from getting there. And then the whole summit is really about sharing learnings and experiences so that you can learn from each other on how to get the most out of the AI investments that you're making and to focus them appropriately. I thought I'd throw up a couple of data points around this theme to support this. And I've taken them from a number of sources of credible people who have talked to thousands of people to kind of coalesce the sentiment around AI and its return. And so here's two of those. One of them says more than 80% of respondents said their organizations aren't seeing a tangible impact on the enterprise level quite yet. Siloed impact, individual impact, but it's not going to the scale yet where it's really transforming how organizations perform and the results that come with it. Another source would say that CEOs feel that only about 25% of their initiatives actually deliver the return that they envisioned. So what does that mean for us, and what do we want to explore over the course of this summit is really the question of where is the greatest impact of AI and generative AI? Where should one focus in order to move from trying a lot of things to very focused investment and getting the return? And what does it take to get there? Another one that I think you'll be extremely familiar with, and that's probably true to everyone, is this one. 85% of leaders cite data quality as their most significant challenge in AI strategies in 2025. That's my experience too. The modeling is almost the easy part at the end of the day. The data scientists, when you give them the data, they can make it happen. But getting the data provision, getting the access to data, getting it at scale, getting it with reliable quality has shown to be a challenge. And of course, the innovation on the data side is very fast. And transformation is almost continuous to the latest way of managing the data infrastructure and the data architecture. And so I think that's a theme that we're going to carry through. And in fact, we have one roundtable that explores just that theme on how to actually accelerate data transformations and making sure that the data household is ready for the data scientists to do their job. Another one that I thought was interesting is this one. 75% of technology leaders will face moderate to severe technical debt by 2026. Now that's not far out, but I think it's a testament of everybody having charged out of the gate very fast. And a lot of people in organizations are picking up the picking of vendors, and it's a multifaceted and often fragmented type of set of activities that has the risk of creating complexity and fragmentation of the future. And so we think it is really important to very mindfully scale so that it can be sustained, and it can be cost effective, and it can be nimble and fast as it needs to be. But the question that we think we want to explore is how to build for scalability and avoid complexity as we go and build up data infrastructures, and now setting a lot of agents on top of it in order to reap the benefits from the power of AI. Here's another one that I thought was interesting. 67% struggling to transition Gen AI pilots to production. There's some roadblocks to success. I think that's a really interesting one to explore, and I think it links back to another message that Ashutosh sent us last night, which is around, it's not so much only the data and the model, it's the mindsets, it's skills, it's people, it's talent. And I think that's particularly true when you think about Gen AI versus the models that we build on AI and machine learning types of capabilities. I've been spending a lot of time in the banking environment. And when we started with machine learning and AI, we did things like credit capacity. We estimated and predicted what kind of line of credit could we give people for their credit cards. And we discovered that we think we were conservative. With more predictive power, we could give people more lines of credit. That is easy to do. You just change the line of credit and give it to people. You don't have to change the process. You don't have to change mindsets. But when you're starting to move to agents, when your customers interact with bots and with avatars, and a lot more human to machine actually replaces the human interaction, the mindset has to change. When you want everyone to get to 10x productivity and use these tools as their second nature, you have to change mindsets. And so we're gonna explore quite a bit of that. And it was one thing that Ashutosh last night really put into our heads. And the question that I think is important here is how to operate and change the approach to work to scale generative AI. And I think, Olaf, you're going to take us through a whole kind of examples on how it looks when you're an AI-first worker, human, using these tools like second nature and multiplying your own capability and productivity so you look like a team of 10, but it's still yourself and the tools and the agents that you're working with. So those are a number of kind of data points that we looked at when we started to craft this AI summit. And this is why we I got one more slide that I almost forgot about. The follow-on to the previous slide is, I think this notion of skill and talent change is starting to settle in. This is a data set over time, taken about a year ago. Organizations and respondents wouldn't have at mass said that a lot of skills and talent have to change. Now I think it's settling in at the bottom. You see that on the right side, respondents who say more than 50% of our people and skills have to change. It's settling in that the mind shift change is almost as important as the AI strategy itself and the data transformation strategy itself. So if we take all of this together, we crafted this notion of how to unlock the power of AI, because we think the potential is clear, and I think Ashutosh was also making that point last night, that that's not the question. The question is, how do we really get there? How do we unlock it? And how do we unlock it in a way that it's truly sustainable and affordable at the end of the day and permeates organizations and eventually moves from incremental change through predictive capability to truly transforming how organizations compete and entirely unlock the power of AI. As we then thought about how do we best spend the day and a half to really work through this, we came up with this. We wanted to make sure that there is inspiration, that there is ideas being positioned, but we also wanted to create space for all of you to interact and really digest and share your experiences and learnings and challenges, and ultimately walk out after the day and a half and have some actions in mind that change the course on how you unlock the power of AI in your respective organizations, in your unique contexts, in your industries that are all different. And that's what we wanted to curate, and Matt is going to take us a little bit through the day and a half on how we're going to do this and how the sessions are going to roll and how we intend to achieve this, arch from inspiration to interaction and ultimately to action. So before I hand it off to Matt, I thought I'd share one news with you, which we're actually quite proud of. This morning, we released a press release that announced that Tavant was assessed by Everest in their peak assessment, and we were placed as a major contender as an AI and AI services specialist. So we're quite proud of this. It's the first time that we participated. Thank you. It's the first time we participated in the assessment, and we were right away placed very high, which I think is a testament of Tavant having done this work for a very long time. It's a testament of having worked with you to do this work for a very long time. And we're now really kind of bringing this to the surface of what Tavant is all about. And this is just some fantastic endorsement by those who assess the players in the industry and placing us at a relatively high point right off the bat. So with that, I am thrilled to spend the next day and a half with you. I'm available anytime. I'm sure we'll connect. I met some of you last night. I'm looking forward to meeting all of you over the next day and a half. And with that, I'll hand it over to Matt to take us through that day and a half. Thank you very much.